You've done the work, you know what to do, but somehow follow through feels harder than it should. Welcome to the Self Trust Solution, where we turn your knowing into doing by building the one thing that changes everything: self trust. I'm your host, Dawn Lede, and I'll show you how to stop spinning and start executing with clarity, confidence, and consistency. We all have those moments where we think, this shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be this hard. They shouldn't have done that. My computer shouldn't freeze. But the reality, it is happening. The more we resist what is, the more we suffer. Not because we're wrong for thinking it should be different, but because we're pouring our energy into a fight we can't win. Today, we're talking about the should factor, how it sneaks into our thinking, how it quietly drains our energy, and most importantly, how to shift out of it so we can actually support ourselves in moving forward. If you've ever felt like you're banging your head against a wall trying to make something be what it just isn't, this episode is for you. We'll take a look at what the should factor is and why it fuels frustration. Why acceptance doesn't mean agreement, approval, or giving up. A simple 3-step process to stop arguing with reality and reclaim your energy, and how this plays out in everyday life, including and especially mine. If you ever find yourself caught in frustration over something that should be different, this episode will help you step out of the struggle and into a place of clarity, action, and self support. So let's dive in. The biggest source of frustration isn't always the situation itself, it's our resistance to it. We believe things should be different when they're not. And when they're not, even though we believe they should be different, we can unconsciously fight against that reality. This is the should factor. When we just are caught in this cycle of arguing with reality that it should be different. And here's the kicker: we're not wrong. Maybe it should be different. But arguing with reality doesn't change reality. It just exhausts us. It just pours salt into a wound, if you will. It just kicks us while we're down. And the antidote to this is not to pretend to like it. It's not to decide that it should be happening. We don't have to agree with it or even condone it. But we do want to recognize that our energy is better spent elsewhere. So, how do we shift out of the should factor? We can do this in 3 simple steps. The first is to acknowledge that you wish it were different. Name the frustration, anger, or sadness that comes with it. Let yourself feel that truth without resistance. Let it be okay that you are frustrated or angry or sad about something happening that you wish were different. And then accept the reality as a fact. That's step 2. Not as something you agree with or approve of, just as what is. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means recognizing what's true so that you can decide what's next. And finally, step 3 is decide how you want to move forward. What will actually serve you? What would support you in this space where things aren't the way you want them? Instead of spending energy fighting what is, how can you use that energy to respond in a way that is supportive, that is forward moving, or that is self-care infused? One way I see this in my nearly daily life is with my computer. Sometimes it freezes for no seemingly good reason. I can do all the things. I can close the apps, clear the cookies, restart, and it still freezes. And I catch myself getting increasingly frustrated. Why? Because I slipped into the should factor. It shouldn't be doing this. It should just work. And what happens when I stay in the should factor is my brain starts collecting evidence for how this is a problem. It will pull evidence from the past and remember how it did this yesterday and then it will start predicting the future. It will never be better. I'll never figure this out. It starts to become something about me. Maybe you've noticed this. That is the suffering that comes from arguing with reality because we have no other place to place our frustration. But the truth is, we don't have to place it anywhere. We can just allow ourselves to feel frustrated about it. So I'm not wrong for feeling frustrated about my computer. The truth is, it should work. But fighting that truth doesn't make my computer unfreeze any faster. It just makes me more frustrated and less equipped to handle the moment. So instead, I employ the 3 steps. I shift. First, I acknowledge, yes, it shouldn't be happening. And then I accept the reality as a fact. And yet it is. Yes, it shouldn't be happening. And of course, this is frustrating. And yet it is happening. And then step 3, decide how you want to move forward. I'll ask myself, so what do I want to do in light of this? It is frozen right now. How can I take care of myself through whatever it's going to take to get this computer back up and running? Sometimes that means stepping away, sometimes troubleshooting, sometimes using Control-Alt-Delete repeatedly until it's fixed, sometimes using the unexpected pause to breathe, reset, exercise something from my comfort plan. This way, I am not adding and elevating the frustration. I am allowing it to be frustrating, and then I'm taking care of myself through the frustration to move forward. So don't forget, you can not judge yourself for bringing in the should factor. It's totally normal. Just acknowledge that, of course, you wish it were different. Name the feeling that comes with it. Then accept the reality as fact, knowing that it doesn't mean you condone it or approve of it, and then decide how you want to move forward. What will you take away from today's episode? My goal is for you to take better care of yourself during unwanted situations. Frustration is going to come, but it often comes from resisting reality, not the situation itself. And acceptance doesn't mean agreement. It means choosing where to put your energy. And my invitation is to put it towards taking care of yourself. Shift from arguing to self-support. This allows you to move forward with clarity. And remember, you get to decide how to respond to what is rather than getting stuck in what should be. Look, we all fall into the should factor at times. It's human. But the real shift happens when we recognize it, stop arguing with reality, and ask, how can I take care of myself in this moment? How do I want to move forward with this reality? If this resonates, I invite you to dive deeper into mastering your inner dialogue. Your self-talk matters, and learning to work with it instead of against reality can change everything. Check out Master Your Inner Dialogue and join Beyond the Pages for guided insights at theselftrustcoach.com. Until next time, remember, reality may not always be what we want, but how we respond is always within our power. And as always, keep trusting yourself because you can. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with a friend, and tune in next week for more insights on self-trust. Inside every goal is a decision, an action, an evaluation, and an adjustment. Keep building your rhythm with the Self-Trust Solution. Subscribe, leave a review, and explore how we can work together at theselftrustcoach.com. I'll see you in the next episode.